know when it is love. I know when it is love.
People have been talking about now the
That's how I
Yeah, give it. We are here at the OAGOT Club.
Oh my God, good evening, everyone. It's Sunday evening here in the East Coast. So, good evening to our dearest USA. It's 9:33 p.m. Sunday night. O, diba, J-Cas? And of course, in the Philippines, good morning to everyone. It's 10:30 a.m. My God, it's a Monday morning in the Philippines. And J-Cas?
Yes, welcome to Hangover Sunday.
I know.
Good morning po sa lahat ng mga Filipinos and non-Filipinos in different time zones, in different dimensions, in different continents, in different galaxies, in this whole wide universe.
We are so hyper and excited tonight, guys, because okay, we're not going to speak in Tagalog this time. We have to speak English because our special guest is, wow, one of the most, ano ba to, Soft after what? Motivational.
Author and best-selling
motivational speaker. And can you believe, J-Cas, guys, I don't know if you've seen him. He was, he guested multiple times at Steve Harvey's.
Yes.
Right? Steve Harvey's interviewed him so many times. So, guys, please tune in because I'm sure you will learn a lot of things from this beautiful, good-looking guy.
He's also a cute guy.
Yes. He is so cute.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm lurking in his Instagram. Thank you.
I know, right?
When he's jogging and he's giving his inspirational quotes, whatnot.
Exactly. So I'm sure everyone are so excited, and whoever's like, probably, it's only 9:35 p.m. So probably you're having dinner, late dinner, wherever you are in the U.S., all over the world, and anywhere in the world. Please tune in because I'm sure 100% sure that you will learn a lot of things. Let's pick his brain, guys, kasi marami po kayong matututunan sa aming special guest for tonight. So anyways, I would like to, of course, introduce our special guest na, ha? I'm sure everyone are excited. Okay, our guest for tonight is sought after by companies all over the world. His message has encouraged and touched thousands of lives to find their own inner greatness. He is the president and CEO of Wimbrey Training Systems. As an inspirational speaker, motivator, and sales training professional. His best-selling book, From the Hood to Doing Good, is a full motivational nuggets on how he went from being a street drug dealer to a successful salesman, innovator, and international speaker. Let's get to know him better and pick his brains, how he climbed the ladder and secret to success. Guys, please welcome international speaker, TV personality, author, and life coach, Mr. Johnny Wimbrey.
Hey! What an incredible introduction. Thank you for that.
Of course, dude.
Build it.
Oh my God, who will not? My God, we were just so excited because we were talking about you the whole day. We were like, Jesse, I mean, are you sure? You say nice. I'm like, trust me.
So cool. I'm over here like this during the introduction, like, oh, they wild. Let me go. We're getting hype.
Yeah, right.
I was ready for the pass off.
Oh my God! Would you like to say hi to everyone who's watching, the Filipinos and the non-Filipinos?
Absolutely, from around the world. Yay! I do a lot of business with the Filipino, my brothers and sisters from around the world. Actually, it's one of the nationalities that I run into no matter where I go in the world is Filipino.
Really?
Yep,
I know,
anyone in
'cause
the world.
you've been-
And Malta. Have you ever been to Malta? It's a small island off the
No.
coast.
I know Malta is
Italy.
beautiful, but
It's a beautiful. It's like a big rock. There's a Filipino community in Malta that came to see me speak.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Like how many percentage? Like how many people? Can you barely count them, or you've seen like?
No, it was a handful because I just remember asking. I was like, I didn't know they had. You guys had a Filipino community here, and he's like, it's huge. And I'm like, I've been here many times. How come you guys haven't introduced me to them? It's just a big community. Yeah. Of course, in Hawaii, in Singapore. I mean, literally all over the world. One of the only nationalities that I can find anywhere I've ever been.
We're like
even in Jerusalem, even in Israel.
In Israel too, I know.
In
In Israel,
Jerusalem.
we're like cockroach. We're all over the
no,
world.
don't say cockroach. I'm a
Ants?
big, beautiful brown butterfly. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
So Johnny, what's up? Well, how's everything? How's
Oh man,
I know, like this
You
past
know-
few days, right? You don't have any
Yeah, how is
electricity.
Texas?
How's Texas?
life is good. Life is good. In Texas, and I live in Dallas, so we just went through. Man, we went back to the hood pretty much. We live in a multi-million-dollar community, and homes were just shut off. It didn't matter what kind of house you lived in. People were looking for somewhere to go. In my neighborhood, thank God, the lights were off and on every 90 minutes. And there are some people like where I'm from in the hood that never lost anything. But for every 90 minutes for 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days off and on. But then we lost water. And that was the day that we were supposed to come on.
Yes.
And I'm like once water was gone, like I'm the type of dude, like I'm a running water guy. I don't listen. I respect people who go camping. I don't go camping if it requires spending the night. So I'm a water guy. I need running water. That's just who I am.
Exactly.
And man, when we lost running water, bro, I turned into like, hey, I'm glad you give me the wine because I need a therapy.
Exactly. Oh yes. Oh, you know what? We have a
Salud.
protocol here. We have a protocol.
What is it? Tell me.
We have to welcome you. Because we have to cheers, okay? And then after that, we'll have a photo op. We have to take a picture and that's it. We'll
Jesse
start
has
talking.
wine. I have my vodka pineapple.
Yes, because
I normally have my red cup. I told my wife, bring me the clear glass so they can see I'm drinking red wine.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I'll be honest with you, dude. Until now,
I
we're still
can't drink
hangover. We're still hangover because we had a party last night. It was Jacob's birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Yes. So
Thank you.
now we're like, you know what?
Aquarius.
I don't care. We have to do this because it's Johnny Wimbrey. Come on.
Let's get it. Oh,
All
man.
right. We will welcome you. Okay, guys. To
All right.
everyone in the Philippines and to whoever is watching right now around the world, guys, let's welcome the napaka-guapo. I have to say it. You know what's guapo, right?
Guapo?
Guapo is
Handsome.
It's handsome. In
Oh,
Spanish,
yeah.
they call it,
Thank you.
Yes, guapo and motivational international speaker, Mr. Johnny Wimbrey. Welcome to Over a Glass or Two.
Cheers.
Hey. How do you say cheers in the Philippines?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Everybody says that, man.
we
There's
don't
got to
have
be a word, a local word, like
A
to
local
life.
word? I don't know. Like I don't
don't
think
have
so.
any
We don't
local word
but,
for cheers.
okay, one more thing. Can we have a picture and then we can
Yes.
we can start the conversation? Okay, 1, 2, 3. There you go.
All right.
Let's start. So wait, what is that? Like you have a beautiful studio. Is that a studio?
Yeah.
I love
thank
it.
What
you.
is this richness millionaire?
The richness millionaire behind
Generation
you.
situation
Yes.
going on?
There's a lot of stuff going on back there. There's a lot of stuff. I can do a walkthrough, but I'll take over your show if I do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's a beautiful. That's your studio, right? That's your studio.
Yes.
Wow. But Johnny, like tell us, because I was telling them like, where they thought like you used to live in Jersey City. I mean, I'm sorry, in New Jersey or New York. But I told them that you were born and raised in New York, right?
No. I'm literally born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas.
Really in Texas?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. There was a period of my life, like right around 3 years old, where we were sent to San Jose, California, for protection in a battered women's shelter. So my mother and her 3 boys, I'm the baby boy. She tells a story that the government, my mom's white, my dad's black. So the government was going to ship her wherever she wanted to go for protection for her 3 boys. And she had 2 choices. She had New York. I believe she said either Brooklyn or Harlem. And then the other choice was San Jose, California. She sent us to San Jose. She wanted us to go to San Jose because she knew she couldn't handle us in New York. Like we were. I
don't understand. Like, I know, like your mom was a battered wife, right?
Yeah.
So your dad left you. So tell us how it started.
Well, I mean, it's not that my dad left us. It was my mother feared for her life. And this is her story. I'm not old enough to remember, but I just remember being in a shelter in San Jose, and then we get to an apartment, no furniture, you know, where I'm about to start elementary school. So I started elementary kindergarten there. And then when I was in 1st grade, my mom brought us back to Fort Worth. And that's when I met my dad for the first time that I remember. And she would go stay with her dad, and me and my brothers would stay with my dad. So we're meeting him for the first time. And we started realizing, you know, he really wasn't a bad father. He was a great father. He was just a horrible husband. And so my mom, like, I finished the 1st grade there. She picked us up. You know, we're in the summer deal, you know, going back and forth. She picks us up one day and says, hey, we're going back to California. So we're young. We're like, okay, cool. Back to Cali, right? Not knowing that my dad, you know, didn't do anything to deserve this. Like, he was just ripped apart. And so we go back to San Jose, California. At that point, nothing was normal, man. Nothing was normal. I failed the 2nd grade in California. My brother failed the 4th grade. My middle brother, he did well. Yeah, I was raised around gangs and violence and drugs my entire life. When I got back to my father, it was after I failed the 2nd grade. That summer, my mother basically could not support us. So she said, I'm sending you to your father. And I remember just remembering, like, she said send. I've never heard that word before in my life come out of my mother's mouth. And that's how I would know that ultimately we would go back to my father. And we're in San Jose, get on an airplane. It's when you walked up the stairs back in those days. And I jumped off the airplane. I ran down like, Mom, please don't make me go. And she said, I'll be there in 2 weeks. I would not see my mother for 3 years. That was a very hard time for me.
Did you have that feeling that when she did say the word send and then it was about to happen, you're going to separate in the airport, that you're not going to see your mom for a long time? Even if
I didn't know.
I'm going to see you.
Oh, you didn't? Wow.
Well, she said 2 weeks, and I had no reason to believe that it wouldn't be 2 weeks. Like, she didn't have the character of someone that said things to us that didn't happen. So I did believe 2 weeks, and you know, life just happened, man. And I wouldn't see her for 3 years. It's not like she had the money to get back to us. So, you know, my father was a trash man, very hard worker. My father, if you want to imagine my dad, imagine Samuel L. Jackson in the movie Pulp Fiction.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, that's
no
a
way.
Get that character in your head when I tell my dad's story. All right. Like, get that guy in your head, because that's what I was raised with. So my father, when we got back to him in the 2nd grade, I realized, you know, he's a tough dude. He's very heavy handed. Like, nobody's going to mess with him. No bullshit. Like, you just don't run up on my dad like that. I have never, ever in my life been afraid if my father was in a room, ever. And I'm from the hood. Like, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. If my dad was there, I've never been afraid. So I start, you know, we start living with my father, and my mother comes back 3 years later. My oldest brother went to go live with my mom when she came back. He's serving 40 years in prison right now. That's my oldest brother.
Wait, until now he's still in the prison?
Yeah, he's been 40 years.
Okay.
So, my middle brother, who's 11 months older than I am, we stay with my dad. We just knew that, you know, we knew we needed a man in our life because we were just too wild. And so my father was that guy that you know, very outspoken. Nobody messed with him, and that's just how I was raised. And that's what, you know, the first book I wrote was called From the Hood to Doing Good.
Yes, actually, yes. And we want to talk about it later. Yeah. Okay.
So from, ex drug dealer to, multi-million-dollar success phenomenon. Like when I was a teenager, I had a felony arrest because I couldn't get a regular job. Made a lot of bad decisions in life. And part of my story is, I just made a decision. I'm not going to consult my past to determine my future. Where I come from has nothing to do with where I'm going. Yes, and once I made that decision, I started, on this path of just climbing out of a hole. And it was thrilling to me. I'm from, I sold drugs on the streets as a teenager at 15, 16 years old. So every moment of my life was a risk. So I've never really been afraid to start a business. I'd like, when you talk about entrepreneurship, I've never had a fear of starting a business. And I think about, where does that come from? Because 90% of the reason that people don't succeed when it comes to become an entrepreneur, because of fear. They're just afraid.
Exactly.
They don't.
You're right.
Well, every day of my life was a risk. So the hardest thing for an entrepreneur to do is something that I've already mastered. Like, my life was at a risk every day. So I just brought that mindset into the business world, and it literally has we've done over $1 billion in revenue.
But wait, how did you start it? Like you mentioned earlier that you started at a very young age being an entrepreneur. What was the first thing that you sold? Like, when
legal?
You were
Yeah.
Legal?
Okay, legal and illegal. Okay, fine.
So, the transition from the drugs to the real.
Yeah, you knew where I was going. Like, you
product
did my
and
legal?
services.
Illegal first. Illegal.
Okay, no. Okay,
what came first?
So no, when I was in elementary school, I would pay for it, like now laters and gum, and I would break them down and take them back to school to sell them. I've always been that kind of guy, though. Like, I had a lawnmower business. Yeah, lawnmower business when I was 12, 13 years old during the summer. All of that. But then, right around 14, 15 years old, crack started coming into the community, and fathers started disappearing. And, I was introduced to that world, and, I participated with my own, and it was my will. I participated, sold drugs, had people selling drugs for me, had a felony arrest when I was a teenager. And one of the moment that really changed everything for me was one of my homeboys were murdered. And sadly, it's not my first friend murdered.
How old were you during that time?
I was a junior in high school, so I'm a year behind. So I was 18. Wow. I just turned 18. It was the week I turned 18. As a matter of fact, it was first week of February 1993. That's how well I remember it. A friend of mine was murdered. And I remember I knew the guy who killed him. So, and we all grew up together. But this was my homeboy that was murdered, and I knew the guy who killed him. So we were all going to retaliate. And, the night of the wake, we were invited to be with the family. And I'm old enough to know we were set up because they had counselors there and everything. And our homeboy's mother stood in front of the casket. And she said, "I forgive the young man who killed my son." And when she said that, for some reason, I was listening. Like, I was listening to what she said. And I had the most mature moment of my life up into that second. It was like, I didn't love him like that. Like, I didn't love him more than his mother. So if the mother had already found forgiveness and I'm going to seek revenge, I have a gun on me. Me and my boys, we're here to pay respect, and we're going to go retaliate. And we have guns on us. And when she said that, I'm like, I felt like I would be disrespecting her if I went on to do something. So that night, I gave my gun to a preacher. I gave my gun to a preacher.
Were you kind of the leader of the group so that you said, stand down, we're not going to do it anymore?
I was nowhere near the leader of this group. I mean, it's almost like I was one of the youngest ones. Okay. But I had a lot of influence. We didn't really have a leader. It was more so a clique, and we just knew who we were. And all of my homeboys would end up go to prison. Like, every one of them that I'm talking about, all of them went to prison for something different.
So what happened that night? Like, you gave the gun.
Once I did that. Okay. I was like a buzzkill. Like, once I did that, like, it was the buzz was over. Like, nobody was gonna go against that. Like, there was It was too obvious. It's like the mother had found forgiveness. Like we really want to disrespect her like that. It was just too obvious. Yeah.
Wow. Like that was the moment that it was there's a click on your head that wait, it's
that was a moment.
Change.
Yes.
That was a moment for me. And from that moment on, I stepped away from that life, and I was in high school.
So what did you do? Like, because is it true? Like, whenever we watch TV or movie, that okay, I want to get out, I want to step out of this life.
Isn't that hard? Because your clique will not allow you to leave.
Yeah,
right?
and they will try to
but you know what?
I want to kill you. Like
I never ever was in a gang, and some of my homeboys were though. Like they were gang affiliated, but like I was with them last night. Literally, I was with some of these guys last night.
They're not a gang.
So it's like we literally so we just had a clique that even gangs respected it, because it's like we had it before y'all started wilding out, over a color. We were this before. So all of my boys, they dibbled and dabbled. I just didn't. I've never been the type of person. Maybe it was my father. I don't know. Like it would have to be called Wimbrey for me to be in a gang. Like I could never sell myself out to a name that's not mine. I've always been like that though. So I understand why people, think they need gangs, but I could never have one unless it was named after me. I just can't.
Oh, you have it. It's like it has to be mine.
You already know your future. I'm the boss. I'm the name on the company.
Right. What? Like, wait, here's what's crazy. Now that I'm old enough to understand, I even said this back in the day. I'm like, how am I going to represent a street that a white man built, never knowing I would live on this street? Yeah. When these streets were built,
they didn't have you in mind. No
exactly.
So
they didn't have me in mind. So why the hell would I claim this street when the street would never claim me? I always thought too far out.
Wait, so after that, so you decided to like, you know what, let me just get away from this life and, let me start like doing business right away. After that, what was the first thing that you did? Like you became successor right away?
No.
Did you seek help from other people?
I had some really cool mentors in my life. Pastor C.W. Gillespie is probably really one of the reasons. The reason I say his whole name is because I don't know if I would be alive without him. Like he let me come into his church and have roles in the church, and people would quit coming to the church because of me, but he loved me so much that he didn't care. Like he would lose leader after leader after leader because they were tired of dealing with me. He told me this. Like he said it.
What was the reason why they don't want to deal with you?
My personality type, I was kind of like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like that kind of kid, like
obnoxious.
Oh man,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Everything would turn into a joke. So can you imagine me in church with no parents? Like my parents aren't there. My brother Willie wanted to go, so we started going to church. So we have no accountability. So they could have kicked me out and kept Willie, or they could lose leaders and save my life. And they lost leaders to save my life. He'll tell the story to this day. So I was that kid, that class clown. I've never disrespected adults. I've never been that kind. My dad would kill me if I disrespected an adult. So I've never disrespected adults, but I did things to disrespect myself in major ways. I put myself in situations that no minor should ever be in. No minors, even eyes should be able to even see the things that you're seeing right now. But I was that kid that could be in a lot of trouble and nobody would know. Like I was embarrassed. Like in school, like I would be embarrassed if they knew I sold drugs that hurt people, because it was crack cocaine. It wasn't weed. Like it was like a real, it was a real killer. So I had enough sense to be embarrassed to be a crack dealer. I didn't want to be that guy. And for me, it was a quick move. If it was a long-term move, I would have sold weed. But it was a quick move. It was quick for me. In my mind, I'm not going to be here for a long time. And I just wanted a quick come up so I can invest in me. I knew if I could figure out how to invest in me, I could do the rest. And I just needed some money to invest in myself. And so I kind of, went that route, was introduced to that route. but nobody at school knew. I'm not gonna say nobody, but you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. Johnny's a class clown. Johnny,
how long did you do that? Like, how long did you start, selling drugs for like a quick?
I mean, I'd say off and on for a couple years, but it was enough. It was enough to realize if I wanted to be a kingpin, I could have been next in line.
But you know what? I'm curious.
Yeah, it was for me, it was real fast.
Were you able to keep your money though? Were you able to stack it, and did you achieve your goal?
I did in a couple ways, but when Mookie died, that changed everything for me. Like, I didn't want to do that anymore either. It didn't matter about the money. I remember I walked up to a place called Incredible Universe. It's like an electronics store where they had entertainment. And I walked into the store and I said, God, if you give me a job, I'll stop selling drugs today. No joke. I walk into this place and I see like big TVs. I see this guy on a microphone and he's talking like this and has this big multimedia system, all the cameras and everything you can see in this store. It's like bigger than a Sam's warehouse store. And so you can see what's happening on this side of the store. Like, he's controlling everything. He's entertaining people. He's playing music. He's doing announcements. And I'm standing behind him and he has a mic in front of him. He just, welcome to the incredible universe and da 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 da. And he just turns around and he says, you want to come in? And he pulled the chain and he let me in the DJ booth. And
what?
And this, I just prayed in the parking lot, God, if you give me a job, I'll start selling drugs today.
Wow.
They had a cell phone department, a beeper department. I'm thinking like, I can be in sales. I'm going to go but this DJ booth pulled me. So I went right to it and I was just mesmerized. I was looking and he said, give me 1 second. I'm going to do a quick announcement. He did an announcement and came back and started talking to me. And he said, you want to do one? Now, I'm in acting class in school. Like, I'm taking like speech and theater. Like, that's me in high school.
Okay.
I'm finishing school early. I don't have any hours. So I'm going to take some fun classes and hopefully some chicks or some hot,
I'm sorry.
So I was always able to mimic people. Like, I would study Eddie Murphy. And like Eddie Murphy would just mimic people. Like, I could mimic anybody who Eddie Murphy can mimic, I can mimic. And it's not because I can mimic the person, I can mimic Eddie mimicking. I've always been able to do that.
Oh, wow.
So when he put that microphone in my face, I became him. He did a few announcements in front of me. I studied him for like 10 minutes. So I knew what he wanted. He put the script in front of me. He gave me like 5 minutes to learn the script. I take acting classes. So boom, I spit. I was hired on the spot. I got the job.
Damn, dude.
I got the job that everybody in the store, and I'm talking about like very high level 6-figure jobs, envied me because my job was to entertain them while they're at work. So I'm in high school. The guy who hired me quit in the next 4 weeks.
Why?
I'm in high school writing schedules. I write my own schedule to go to work. He trained me to replace him.
Oh, because he's planning to move.
But
I walked in the door saying, God, if you give me a job, I'll stop selling drugs today.
God is on your side.
And this DJ just saw you and just pulled you beside him, right? This is what happens in the movies. This is what
it was crazy.
Literally.
Exactly.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Wow.
I ran a whole booth that had over $1 million of technology in it. And this is in 1993.
Oh, how long did you do that?
It was the Tandy company, so I literally was an employee of Tandy.
Okay.
I did it for about 1.5 years. I sabotaged the entire booth the day I quit because they brought in some white boy to replace me and wanted me to train him.
Oh,
there
what?
you go.
A typical corporate, right?
Oh my God! Your time was up.
Oh,
hey, nobody else knew how to wire that booth but me.
Wait. So, was that the reason why you're like, you know what? I'm done doing all this, 9-to-5 job or whatever. Let me just start, my own company.
I just started thinking different, and in my mind, I went to acting school. Matter of fact, I'm sitting in the DJ booth and I'm going through the UTA paper, University of Texas of Arlington, because my wife is going to UTA. Well, it's my girlfriend at the time. Matter of fact, I met Crystal at Mookie's funeral. My wife, who I'm married to today.
Yes.
23 years.
Oh my God. Yeah,
she
Crystal
was at Mookie's funeral the next day after I gave my gun to a preacher. And I prayed that night. I said, God, send somebody in my life who can help me stay out of trouble. I didn't say male or female. I was thinking like a mentor. No, I was thinking like a mentor.
A mentor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she was sitting 3 seats from me at the funeral the next day. That's a whole nother story.
Oh, yeah, actually, can we, you know what? We're about to talk about your love life later, but now that you mentioned Crystal, so I know that because I remember, I'll be honest with you, I was really blown away whenever I hear you talk on the stage. Because, dude, I swear, you own the stage all the time. Whenever you speak, everyone will listen. Whatever they're doing, they have to just drop everything what they're doing. That's how good speaker you are. And you talk about your wife so many times. And tell us, come on, everyone would probably be giggling once they hear your story.
Okay, so here's how I met Crystal. The night of the wake, give the gun to the preacher. We end up going back over Mrs. Crane's house. Mrs. Crane was our 7th grade, 8th grade teacher. She kind of, her and her husband distracted us from life and just like took us out for pizza and stuff. And then ultimately introduced us to church. Well, we only went because they had girls at church, right? So Mookie started going to her church. So Mookie met Crystal, and I didn't know that they knew each other. Like, so I'm like, why? Like, who do you know here? Like, how do you know Mookie? So, well, Miss Crane would bring him to church. So I'm like, oh, wow. So I wrote an article called "The Murder That Possibly Saved My Life." That article went viral. It's about Mookie. Like, Mookie led me to my wife.
Wow. God moves in mysterious ways.
It's crazy.
It sounds like Jesus was answering your prayers, but not just answering, but answering very quickly, though.
Yes, that's the beautiful wife. Look at that, Crystal.
It's working. I love it. Yeah.
But hold on a sec, because I know that, of course, it wasn't like I've heard that story that it wasn't like a smooth sailing. It was like a roller coaster relationship with you and Crystal.
I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, she's getting involved with someone who has seen more of life than that shouldn't have. Like, I wouldn't want my daughter to be with anybody who saw what I saw at 18. I mean, it is. I know it sucks to say that, but I was well-rounded at that point in my life, and a lot of my skills that I have today, I already had them then. Think about that.
That's
like, think about that. Like, so I already had those skills then. I was just using those skills to maneuver the world the way I wanted the world to maneuver, instead of being a servant with my gift, serving people.
Wow.
Like, serving people has made me way more money.
Exactly.
than getting over on people. Yeah. Or doing illegal things.
But during that time when Crystal, I know, like, you at one point of your when you were speaking, I forgot the name of I think it was in Vegas. You mentioned that you and Crystal broke up.
Oh, we did, right? Yeah.
With the kids and all. So how did you guys like rekindle the relationship again?
Jesse has all the tea.
Yeah.
I love that story. Like, steering, you start steering stronger. Like,
I love listening to love stories.
Hey, Jesse got all the scratches in the bottom of the coffee cup. Like,
I know. Yes.
So my wife and we got married in 1998. So we met in 93, married in 98. So it's only 5 years later. So we're maybe 23. I'm 23-ish, around that time. Yeah. So, and at the time I'm already hustling. I'm in sales. I'm selling home security systems. I'm selling health and life insurance. And I talk a lot about that in my new book called Building a Millionaire Mindset.
Oh yeah. You're going to talk about
that. Yeah. We'll talk about that. But that's kind of where like I started aiming myself towards a direction that would complement my future. So I never took a job that had nothing to do with my future. I never, and like when I took the job at Incredible Universe, the reason I was attracted to that DJ booth, because that DJ booth had something to do with my future. And even if I went in there to sell I went in there to sell electronics, and that would have helped me become a better communicator. So I was always aiming myself in a direction that would complement who I am and where I want to go. I've always been like that. So I finished high school. 2 weeks out of high school, I enrolled into KD Studios. KD Studios is an actors conservatory of the Southwest. So I have a degree in acting and theater.
Oh, nice.
So that was fresh out of high school. That's 1 week out of high school. I enrolled in that school. So I didn't have a summer. Okay. So all of my homeboys end up going to college or acting like they were going to go to college to go see some girls. I'm already in school. So I didn't have time to mess around. Like I didn't have time to mess off. So I go to acting school because of residual income. I heard the word residual income. If you do commercials, every time that commercial airs, you get paid again and again and again. Yes. I could care less about being famous. I wanted this residual income. So I started down this path of just really, really being hungry to understand residual income. I sold health and life insurance because health and life insurance, you have residual income. When your clients are paying their monthly premiums, you get a small portion of that. So there was residual income coming in. So I've always chased residual income. And then I was introduced to the network marketing world, multi-level marketing, residual income. That's what attracted me to that world.
Was that the first, MLM that you joined was
no
Ventures? Oh no,
way before that. So I was 25 years old. This is the year 2000, February the 11th of the year 2000. February is a big month for me, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Like, it's always
my wife. Yeah, it's always February. So I was selling home security systems and insurance, and I'm just sitting down. I'm upset. I'm 3 months behind on my house. I told my wife she would never have to work. She's a newlywed. I mean, I'm just, I wanted to be the man. I wanted to, be the provider or whatever. And we're about to lose everything. And she has no idea. Like, I did not tell her anything. And that my phone rings. It's my homeboy named Dan Hernandez. I remember this. He's a police officer in Dallas, ex-police officer. And he sold home security systems with me. He said, man, I got something you need to look at. He said, I have a website. And immediately, just my competitive nature, he had a website. This is the year 2000. I didn't have a website.
Exactly.
He had a website. So I'm pissed off. So I got to go see this website. Like, how'd you get a website? I don't have a website. So I go check out his website, and I'm watching this video, and that's how they got me. That's how I got involved, because I was the guy who said I would never do network marketing. My insurance boss, the owner of the company, national agency, said, people are going to try to recruit you and distract you, Johnny. You're talented, you're gifted, people are going to see it in you. Stay focused and you'll make millions with me. So I was always closed-minded to network marketing. Always.
Oh, wow. But with World Ventures, I know that you were there for so many years, and you were one of the pioneers that you made that company like on top of
They launched in 2005. At that time, I was helping Success University launch in 2005. So I had already knew the owners of the company, but I already gave my commitment, so I stayed where I was. In 2009, those companies would merge. And when we merged, I took them international. So they had no international market at all. Every bit of the international market on day one was my team. And that's because I was speaking and I was doing seminars around the world. So when I started a team, I would go speak. I would start a team in different places. Well, this new company could no longer service my team. So they had to go international for me.
Wow.
Just to be able to take my team.
Yeah, but I'm curious, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you make like a small company, not like, let's say a mid-sized company, like turn into international, big international? Like,
well, the truth is,
did you ever have like a lot of connections ever since, or you just do okay?
It was every one of my $1 million earners. No one knew their name. They were broke when I met them. Michael Jackson, he was broke the day I met him.
Yeah,
like
true.
Julio Acosta, broke the day I met him. These are people that are known now, but I don't look for those types of people. I look for hungry people, motivated people. I look for people who want to win their life back. I mean, and those are the type of individuals that we break records, we make history with. But I mean, it's work. I told Jex the day I met him, I said, give me 3 years. Give me 3 years. 3 years, we'll make millions together. And you say that to most people, they're gonna be discouraged. So sure. I say things to run people off just as much as I say things to run people towards me. I can get rid of you just by giving you an assignment to see if you're serious or not. So when I started down that path, and here's what's crazy. Every network marketing company that you know of, a respectful network marketing company, you could trace the success back down to one team. Like one team starting it. So I can't really take credit for being the reason. It's normally one person that does it. It's normally one person that lights the match, that gives the approval, to be that Roger Bannister story, run the first 4-minute mile, and then the next year 100 people do it. I mean, it takes one
of those people.
Yeah, I'm one of the people that starts the fire, but I mean, there are so many other people that are going to, that'll come pass you up right afterwards.
Before we move on to your MML success,
MLM.
What do you say?
Media marketing.
Same difference. There's a lot of M's there and L's. Okay. Before we move on and discuss more of your multi-level marketing success and up to now, so you're speaking about the residual income, and part of that was that's why you took acting. I'm curious, were you able to do commercials and all that and actually got residual income for a short time, or you didn't?
I did a couple things, but nothing worth talking about. Like, the more I found out about that industry, the less I wanted to be in it.
Okay.
And now, if you were to call me and say, "Hey, Johnny, we have a guarantee role for you. Here's the contract. Come on in," I would take that job. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't take the job, but the more I started understanding what you go through to get to certain points, it's not me. It's not my personality type. It's like I'd have to give up a piece of myself, and I'm just not the type of guy. You're either gonna love me or hate me. There's not gonna be any between. What's crazy is my daughters followed my footsteps. My daughter
there you go.
My daughter just graduated from my acting college, and she had a full scholarship.
Oh my God! Wait.
Yeah.
Does your daughter want to be an actor? An actress?
They're both actresses. They both have agents. They're both professional actresses. So
really?
Psalms is 19. Hannah is 17. They both got signed agents. They went to Performing Arts Academy in middle school, high school, and they both got full scholarships to an acting college. Full scholarships.
Wow, look at you. What about what about years ago? You never thought of, like, you know what? Let me become an actor. Because you can be an actor.
Yeah. I would not be who I am today if someone didn't teach me how to control my gift. Acting school taught me how to control my gift. The same gift that got me in trouble. Like the same gift that would, disrupt public events and they get shut down and everybody had to go home early. Everybody's pissed off at me. Like that same gift that could steal the audience and get everybody laughing and you're not paying attention to what you're supposed to be paying. I was that guy. So that same gift out of control that would get me kicked out of school has now made me millions.
Wait, hold on. What was that again that you mentioned earlier that stopped everything? And then what was that? What happened? Tell us about that story.
Well,
what happened to that story?
I mean, if I get some of my homeboys right here, they would line up to tell you a Johnny story.
Oh, okay. Tell us that one Johnny story.
Like one of them watching right now. I'm looking at Contosia Flanagan, Kelly. Like she's watching on Facebook. I'm looking at this. Like that person right there her husband could tell stories right now of like things. But so, the Pizza Hut event, like we went to Pizza Hut after a football game or something, and we were class of '94. We stuck tight together. It was organized. We had approval to be there. I mean, everything. And this is the 90s. 90s were rough. We were like the murder capital of the nation in the 90s. Fort Worth was per capita. It was like rough. So finding a place where we can go and just feel like we're going to be cool. It's going to be us, no outsiders. So I show up with some outsiders and being me, just talking. And I don't remember what happened, but I think the manager said something like calm down a little bit, and then it just got real loud, and they they kick us all out.
Oh, there you go.
Now listen,
okay.
They said before I got there, everything was amazing. It was one of those nights where I showed up late with some outsiders, and I just threw the whole chemistry off, and got us all kicked out. We went somewhere else, but a lot of the females were mad. Now
I'm understanding that, you know, the gift that you have, like, in so many places. Now that you're using it, right? What do we call it? You know, that was one of your secrets to success. The disruptor person. Wow. So wait, what about your book? The first one. When did you the first one, the
From the Hood to Doing Good?
Yes. Yeah, like how did you,
this is 2003. 2003. It sells more books every year than it did the year it was produced. Like, it's crazy. Like, even my current publisher on my new book says they've never seen a book with no traditional publishing that's constantly being bought without marketing. Like, this book has no marketing dollars behind it, and it's always like being bought. This book right here, Building a Millionaire Mindset, this is my baby. Like, this is the book that I wrote to my kids. Like, I in my mind, if I'm gonna say anything about this book, I wrote it in the mindset is, if I wanted to leave a roadmap to my children and say I disappear tomorrow, a roadmap. How do you handle millions, Daddy? How did you get it? How do you maintain it? How do you sustain it? How do you pass it on to generations? What mindset does it take? This book, like, there's no reason that my children aren't worth more inside because of this book. This book makes them incredibly more valuable. So I wrote a book, kind of like the new Think and Grow Rich. Like, think about the new modern Think and Grow Rich. This book went #1 on Amazon. It is still in the top 10 4 months later. Today I looked at it, hit 10 again. Wow. Just, you know, and again, this during COVID, no speaking engagements. I mean, just doing stuff like this.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
oh my God.
Thank you.
Dude. So that's your second book, right? So tell us.
This one's by McGraw-Hill. You know who McGraw-Hill is, right?
Yes,
McGraw-Hill is the largest publisher in the world. Like, they do all educational books. They did a deal with me. That's crazy.
How long did you wrote that book?
I finished this one I finished it in 2020. I finished it during COVID. I'd say I'd started it's about a decade worth of information, but within the last 18 months is when I really started to formulate it. There it is. Look at that.
Johnny, if I'm gonna buy one, how can you sign it for me? Because I want a personal sign.
For you, I got you. Send me a message. I got you. No worries. For you, yes. I haven't done any sales of a signed book yet because it's just been coming in so much, and I prefer people to get it on Amazon. And honestly, Amazon can sell it cheaper than I can sell. They got it for sale right now. Like the image she just put up, or he just put up, whoever just put it up. That image, you'll see the book is $17.04. $17. Like that book is for sale for $25, and then you got to pay for shipping. Amazon is selling it for $17 with no shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, guys, so please just
we have book ambassadors. We have people buying 10 books and reselling them and making profit.
Oh wow! Johnny? What was your inspiration of writing that book?
The last book that I wrote was really. It's the absolute most solid piece of information that I've ever put together in one form that anybody, like CEOs, graduates of high school, can grab this book and get something in it. And this is not the type of book you're going to loan. Like this book, the #1 complaint I have on this book is they loan it to somebody, they never get it back. That's the number one complaint I got. Johnny, somebody took my book and it was an original. This one, I guarantee you won't loan anybody this book. Guarantee. After you read the introduction, you'll know why. You will not loan that book to one person. Everybody has to get that.
Congratulations. It's really an honor that I know you. I'm like so
an honor to know you. We've done a lot of business together.
I'm so proud of myself for knowing you.
This girl, like, The reason I know Jesse is because of production. I know you because of production. I don't know you because of your name. I was like, who the hell is this girl killing all the numbers right now? Who's like, she like just came in and murdered the scene. And I'm like, who is she? And why doesn't she want any recognition? Who is she? And that's how I found her. Like, you just, some people talk, some people just do it. Like, she just did it.
I know. Just I think during that time, just following your footstep, right? Because I know, like, if you really want something to happen, there's no excuse. You just have to close your eyes.
Somebody's gonna do it. It might as well be you. That's how I look at it. It's somebody's gonna knock the ball out of the ballpark. It might as well be you.
Exactly. But Johnny, what about what's that? Like all the celebrities. Because you, dude, you're rubbing elbows with tons of celebrities.
The shout out from Ice Cube.
And plus Steve Harvey's, you were like
Mayweather.
Yeah. And how did you know all these people? Steve Harvey, dude. Like,
I've met all of those, the people that you just named. Every one of them I met at a charity event. Every one of them. It's just a charity event. And we just, I mean, either I'm a part of the charity, I sit on the board, I'm speaking, or it's funny. All of them charity events. Charity events. Celebrities are always at charity events.
Also, so it's a rich people party, and
yeah, exactly. It's for the rich people party.
Money for other people. Yes,
I've been to a lot of parties that were just designed for rich people to hang out, and I don't meet anybody at those parties.
Oh,
no way!
No, it's just if you call something a celebrity party, celebrities don't show up to that.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's the people who want to be celebrities, and they're the most annoying parties ever.
These are the wannabes.
Yeah, it's like
wannabes and all
the B actors. Okay.
I want to be around fun people, man. Fun people having fun. Let your hair down. Let's people. I mean, there's two types of people who know me. People who want to be around me just to like get wisdom and nuggets and success principles. And you got other people who be like, I just want to be around Johnny so I can laugh my ass off. Like,
yeah, because you're really a funny guy.
And there are people who never get to see the business side of me, because they would rather see this side. I mean, I talk about that in this new book, because the older I get, the more I start realizing I'm helping strangers become massively successful. And my own friends, I'm not helping them because we don't talk about it. We just talk bullshit every time we get together. But honestly, they would listen to me if I talked to them. It's just I would rather be this guy. I'm selfishly wanting to be the funny guy right now. I don't want to talk business. I don't want to talk about anything serious. That's what I do when I'm not around y'all. But I can't have that mindset anymore.
Okay, but until now, do you still have friends that, you're still friends with them for so many years, but they still don't follow your footsteps or don't even join your business?
Yeah, I got family, neighbors that don't. It's not even about where you're from. It's just as many people that are from the hood that don't listen to me. I got just as many people who live in my neighborhood don't listen to me. I mean, I've never ever slowed down my life to focus on people who don't want it. Like cigarette companies don't do that. I think about it, like cigarette companies don't focus on non-smokers. They only focus on smokers because there's enough that the people who don't want it don't matter. There's enough people who want to be successful. There's enough people who want more out of life. There's enough people who want to win at this game called life, that there's enough of them that the ones who don't want it, we never bump heads. We never cross paths. It's kind of like right now with the coronavirus, like with the injections. Like, I'll never take it. It's like, good. There's enough people who will, and then we don't even have enough for those people. So it's like people are going out of their way to talk about what they don't want. Like, what other area of life do you talk about what you don't want with enthusiasm? Like, I don't want a bad back today. Like, why the hell are we talking about what you don't want? You don't want the vaccine. You're not going to get it. Thank you. That means other people in line can get it who want it.
Exactly.
All I'm saying is this. I don't cater to people who don't want. People say, Johnny, you're a motivational speaker. You're supposed to care about everybody. I do care about everybody. But I'm not the type of person, how they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it.
Yeah, true.
Well, it's not all the way true. Because if that same horse, if I get a handful of dirt or a handful of sand and I throw it into that horse's mouth, the first thing that horse is going to look for is water. I'm not the type of person that's going to cram what I have down somebody's throat to get them to want more of it. I say things like this. Listen, I love to help people become successful. I help people at the top and anybody else who wants to get there. If that causes you to want more, then I'm going to know, I'm going to see it. But to see somebody that I care about, that I love, and I'm getting all depressed and it's controlling my mindset because they don't want it, I can never do that. I can never, ever sacrifice who I am on the inside because I care about somebody else so much wanting something they don't even want for themselves. That comes from a lot of hard knocks, though. Like, I've been through a lot to get to that. And people say, well, damn, Johnny, how can you be so strong? I'm like, I don't wish it on anybody. Like, you just learn, you go through it, and you start realizing I want everybody to love life. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to win. But when you start wanting them more than they want it, man, it's like an internal implosion that happens inside you, and a little piece of you gave up to help something that didn't want to even be helped.
Exactly. And sometimes those people that you want to help them, but they don't want to be helped, are the one who's number one, the bashers, and the one who's haters. Like, they don't even know you. They don't even join. Like, they didn't even join your wagon, and they're still talking negative things,
don't
bullshit about you. So how do you handle those things? Do you
Well, you know what? Okay. People are creative. They want to be creative and relevant. Like, if you're creative and relevant, it's not like you're emotionally connected to the conversation. You just want to be relevant. Like, I saw somebody post something about, Ted Cruz, going to Cancun, and they said they're saving turtles, but they couldn't save, lives. And I'm like, okay, y'all are reaching real deep right now. Let them save the turtles. Those are good people doing good stuff. But that has nothing to do with the government allowing people to freeze to death in this inclement weather. Like, it's two different situations, but they borrowed the story of the turtles to justify the argument of this person who lost their life freezing to death in America. In America, this person died. 11-year-old boy froze to death in his home. Has nothing to do with turtles. But it made them feel relevant to say something that was justifiable. Turtles or 11-year-old? Of course they're 11-year-old. All day, every day.
Yeah.
Those people who were saving the turtles didn't know that there were people dying, freezing to death. But you borrowed this story to make it relevant so you can feel significant. That's the problem. The problem is we're borrowing, stories that have nothing to do with each other to create our own relevance. And that's how wars are started. Because we want to be relevant. We want our truth to be relevant. We want to borrow something else. And it's a domino effect. But my biggest frustration is, why doesn't everybody see that? And normally your biggest frustration is actually your gift. That's a whole nother show.
It's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode.
Johnny,
we're learning a lot from you.
All I know, Johnny, is that, I want to learn from you like your friends, but also like your friends, I also want to enjoy the very fun you.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know how we're going to do that. We'll be drinking and chit-chatting and bullshitting, but also present me.
Those are the smart ones. The smart ones are the ones that want to talk shit. Like, we're going to get Johnny talking shit. We're going to get him rolling. And we're going to just pop in some business questions on our way. Those are the smart ones. Because when I get in my zone, you can't get me out of it.
Oh, yes.
And it's funny. It's funny, too. It's not, it's funny.
That is Johnny, actually. Yeah. Wait, can you elaborate the one that you just mentioned, that's another episode, that's another story? Just like a simple explanation about that. Because we're learning a lot from you, dude.
Okay, bring me back to where we were. What led me to say that? When I said, go ahead.
Your biggest frustration is
Well, typically, so I remember there was a point in my life, maybe like mid-20s, even into my 30s, even now. But more so then when I was teaching the concept of being successful, building organizations and raising up leaders. And it would frustrate me that I would see things that they didn't see. And it was all leadership stuff. You know, you're getting all offended because so-and-so said this, they did this, they bought this, they're bragging about their lifestyle. And now you're over here in your feelings and you don't appreciate what they're doing. And maybe what they're doing is not the right thing to do, but you're talking about them behind their back instead of just going to them and say, hey, man, we need to tone this down a little bit. It's business. It makes sense, right? That's the type of stuff. Like, you didn't see enough that if you just would have had a conversation, you could have prevented a lot of drama with one conversation. And I think that when you start seeing things like that early on, and it's part of your gift, like leadership is one of my gifts. Like I build powerhouses. Like I build people into the level of leadership that they should fly past me like in no time if they really, really want it. Never been intimidated by anybody that I mentor to pass me up. That's a true mentor. You want your proteges to pass you up.
To pass you up, yeah.
So I don't know why I brought that up or where I was going with that, but because of my ability to see things as a leader, it also was my biggest frustration. Like, I would be so frustrated that people didn't see it. And it's like, and I'm a God guy, so I talk about God a lot. It's like God slapped me one day and said, that's why it's your gift. It's your gift because you see it and they don't. So why are you allowing your gift to frustrate you to a point where it's paralyzing you instead of wanting to go help? That was a tweak for me. That was a tweak of being a servant more than a teacher.
Wow, that is deep.
It's crazy.
That is deep, dude.
Because that is a tweak, because I've known, like, working in corporate also in the Philippines, that they're leaders. I was a team leader, and I would say the word serve, because I would have my own team, and I felt that way because, you know, I'm leading them, I'm also serving them at the same way, and I don't feel like when I say serve that I'm putting myself down.
No,
you know? But when my what do you call this? My manager, what she said was, no, you don't say serve. We're not serving. We're leaders. We're above them. Something like that. Yeah. So, you know, there are leaders that do not want to say that.
But you can't.
I could see that if that person who was in leadership role, if they were trained to think that way, it's the difference between, now you're going some deep leadership stuff, but this is all in the book actually. It's the difference between being, you know, are you a leader or are you a dictator? You know, leaders lead with love.
Yes.
Yes.
Dictators lead with manipulation. If you don't do this, I'll do this to you. A leader, like Martin Luther King was a leader. Mother Teresa was a leader. Like, these are people who led with love. And the people who live with love are the ones that we talk about most.
I believe that so much.
That is so true.
I love when you said
a good example.
Lead with love, because when I had my team, and you know, for a straight 8 months, they followed me, and our attendance was number one. Nobody was being absent because they just love me.
Right.
Because they love going to work.
They love going to work because they love, you know, they love me, and we believe in the goal, you know.
And to me, that's more valuable. It's more valuable that I have a group that wants to be there than to have a group that's only there because they're motivated by manipulation.
And the fear as well, right?
Yeah.
They're manipulated in their fear.
If I don't do this, I'm not going to get that. These people were just showing up early probably because they wanted more of it. I would much rather have a work atmosphere like that. Zappos has figured this out. So many companies have Google has figured this out now.
Wow. Do you believe in micromanagement? Like, do you believe in that?
It depends on the personality type. You know, some people need it. You know, the way I raise my children are totally different. I mean, it's still with the same structure and the same rules, but I look at their personal identities as individuals and know what breaks them and what doesn't break them. You know, my daughter who's 17, Hannah, I remember she was 2 years old, 2 or 3. And I remember I heard the door open and I heard dee 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 dee, like the alarm, right? I'm like, what the hell was that? So I go to the front door and Hannah is opening the door. So I remember thinking to myself, okay, I need her to understand how dangerous this was, right? So I get down like to her level and I look at her and I'm holding the door and I said, do not open this door again. There's a doggy out there. If a doggy came to get you, if a bad person came to get you, you open the door and you let them in. So don't open the door. Always wait for daddy or mommy. Close the door. No joke. Her ass looks right at me. Reaches to the door. She's not looking at the door. She's looking at me. And now I know, like, oh, okay, oh shit, okay, she run game, right? So she reaching for the door while she's looking at me. She touched that doorknob. I grabbed her. I'm in Texas, so we're a little bit different. I grabbed her like by her shirt and I said, do not open that door again. And she did. And you know what? And I just looked at her and like that didn't work with her. And then I just said, I'm disappointed in you. She lost it. She lost it. Cried, boo-hooed. And that's when I knew she doesn't want to disappoint daddy. So that's how I discipline. I discipline her based on what works. I want her to know when I'm disciplined, when I'm disappointed in her, because I know it works. That's what she needs is discipline. My other children are totally different, but that's what she needs. She needs to know that she let daddy down because that broke her heart. That is a leader. A leader analyzes each individual with individual consideration, even though you have the rules, or whatever it is, you still can be individual consideration for each individual. I learned that in insurance. Your pre-existing situations that you have, medical conditions, sometimes they'll do individual consideration.
My God, Johnny. I swear, dude, we can talk for hours and hours, and we'll just.
I normally don't do shows this late because I'm normally, you know.
I know.
I'm too crazy.
Oh my God, seriously, dude, we will be like, oh wow, like we would just, dude, can you just talk about this situation? Because I remember years ago, there's always a lot of Johnny Wimbrey story. If they say, oh, you should know the guy. And at one point, I believe. It was in Vegas, and then I was just listening to you guys, and you were just talking and blabbing in one party. It's a pool party, and then there were like most of them were like talking about like because you're the one who's
did we get kicked out?
A joke, what?
Okay, we didn't get kicked out.
No.
Okay.
So you were just like talking, and it was a pool party. It was like a lot of people, and I was like, oh my God, it's an honor that I was there, and I was just like listening, and you're like. The only person, like everyone were talking, but when you spoke, everyone was just listening to, and I was just like,
heads were turning.
Yeah, I was just like mesmerized. I'm like,
oh, I miss those days, man. COVID.
Hey, Johnny,
I'm so ready.
Our director has a question, but I don't know how can you answer this. Can you answer in one or two questions, one or two sentences? How can you build a millionaire mindset?
For me. It's not about making $1 million. It's the mindset that you need to make it, because once you have the mindset, you could do something again and again and again. Why do most people who win the lottery, why are they broke 3 years later? It's not because a millionaire mindset caused them to win the lottery. It was just they're gambling. But the millionaire mindset just makes you think about things that have no choice but to attract $1 million reality. It's just, there's so much in this book that forces you to deal with you that you can't even make it past the first chapter without starting to understand that a millionaire mindset is literally 1 inch away from you. It's not a long path. It's not at all. It's just a flipping of the switch. I tell people that, making $1 million in 1 year was not the hardest thing I've ever done. The absolute hardest thing I've ever done is give myself the permission to believe that it was possible. That was the hardest thing. Like once I really subscribed to that possibility being there for me, like there was nothing that could stop me. You show me somebody who's broke, I'll show you somebody who entertains being broke more than they entertain being prosperous.
like Johnny, I'm curious. Like, for example, like, what if, let's say, a typical, let's say, J-Caz and I, like, we work in a corporate, in a corporate America. So is it possible for us to be a millionaire? Like you mentioned, like maybe, well, okay, let's just say not a year. That's impossible. Maybe a year or 2 or 3 years.
Not impossible.
Is it possible? Is it possible even if you don't have any extra income streams?
It may not come from that source though.
Okay. You have to be resourceful. Okay.
That source may complement your millionaire status. And I mean, you got people who have nothing that will be millionaires this year. At least you have something.
Sure.
Like you have people who have, and I'm not joking. There's a female somewhere right now that's going to become a millionaire for the first time this year. And right now she has nothing. There's a male, a black person, a white person, an Asian person from all walks of life. Right now, while we're talking, there is somebody in your shoes that's less fortunate than you are that's still going to be a millionaire this year. So you tell me if it's possible.
Wow. So J-Caz, we have to.
Well, since we're not doing it, it's them. That's what he said. If it's not us, it's them.
It's them. Exactly.
It's gonna be somebody. So it might as well be you. They're starting with nothing. I did a whole speech talking about the dedication of a crackhead. Ask me how I know.
I love that.
Oh my God, Johnny. Okay, a dedication of a crackhead. Okay.
Ask me how I know. I was there. I saw it. So the dedication of a crackhead basically is a crackhead wakes up every day at 0. Like they literally wake up every day at 0. They have nothing and they still get high that day. And they never entertain that they wouldn't get high that day. So you got somebody who starts at 0, who never ever in their mind, they entertain the thought of not getting high. It never crosses their mind. They know they're going to get high. They don't know how they're going to do it, but they know day after day, without reservation, without bullshit, nothing's going to stop them. A crackhead gets high every day.
Oh no,
and they
you know
start
what?
at 0.
I get it, but now you have to change your book to how to build a crackhead mindset.
I actually
but I know that will not sell as much. That will not sell
for
as
the
much.
For the first time ever, I put it in the book. It's in the book. I talk about it.
You know what? That makes
It's the dedication of a crackhead. It's just they're dedicated. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, you're right. You know, they have zilch waking up.
Nothing.
And but at the end of the day, they're high somehow.
Right. But it's crazy. They never entertained that they wouldn't have gotten high. Like that's the crazy part. Like here's the crazy about me. I have never in my life entertained not being successful. Like I remember my homeboys coming over to my crib. I'm like 7th and 8th grade. And I remember being embarrassed to let them in my house to see how I live. You know what's crazy about that? They lived the exact life. Like, there was like you next door.
Yeah.
I'm like,
What the heck?
I'm like, why? How did I know that I should be embarrassed? Like, where'd that come from? Like, it's not like they came from a different neighborhood and I was acting like I was something that I wasn't. They saw me every day and I still was ashamed for them to see how I lived.
My God, that is so true.
Crazy.
That's a fucked up like, thinking. Seriously.
Think about it. Like,
Right?
That's not normal. I don't wish that on nobody.
Oh my! I'm learning a lot from this dude. You know what? While you were talking, like, I just thought about it. Like, for example, when we started this podcast, right? Just last March we started. Like, we're gonna be 1 year next month. We've never even thought about that. You're right. Like, all we know is just we just want to talk. We just want to, whatever happens, we just, even if we do it 3-4 times a week or 5 times a week, I'm
it's
like
working.
shaking, and I'm just shaking all the time because I'm the one who's scheduling, reaching out to the celebrities and all, the Filipinos, the big ones, right?
To get them in.
Like, I'm always shaking, and I'm like, I don't know what, but all I know that crackhead thinking that I don't give a shit. I
Right.
need
It's
to.
gonna happen.
It will happen
And it
by
does
hook
happen.
or by crook.
Yes.
And I
Look,
made it happen.
People like me always want to talk to people like you. Like, it's like, I want to talk to somebody who's a go-getter. I want to talk to somebody that like got on my nerves to get me on their show. Like, drove me nuts. Like, that story is huge because those are the type of people. That's a millionaire mindset. A millionaire mindset is the kid that's separating candy and now laters to go sell them back at school. A millionaire's mindset is like, this is crazy. Like, this is real. I think about this day as crazy. I used to mow yards. Like, ask me, did I have a truck? No. I literally walked door to door with a gas can and a lawnmower, and I knocked on doors. Would you like to have your yard mowed? And here's what's crazy. The next day, I would knock on the same houses that said no. It never occurred to me that they would say no again. It never hit my mind. Like, they said no yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
I didn't know where this fearlessness came from, but that's a millionaire mindset. It's just, we need direction. Like, we don't know what to do with this gift. There's not one person on the planet that I can't analyze in 30 minutes and tell you what their gift is. But the thing is, your gift scares the hell out of you. Like you know what it is. Like, I just said that, and instantly both of y'all thought of something. It just scares you. It scares me too. But run towards it, not away from it. The millionaire mindset is to run towards it. And there's a process to learn how to do that.
That's so true. Yeah, just when what you mentioned earlier, like when I did it with World Ventures years ago, I don't even know.
I heard
how
about this story.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the heck I was doing.
I heard about Jesse making waves too.
It's
I
crazy.
have
Yeah.
no clue how I did it. I just did it, and I was just like, I
Well,
never.
that's how I met her.
Yeah. But the thing is, you know what? I didn't know, Johnny, that when Jake has asked you, right, what is? Give us a few sentences of, what is a millionaire mindset, and now you made me think that it's not just me and probably all those go-getters. You guys have it.
Yeah.
You just have to go through it. Like, you just have to push it.
The go-getter mindset.
Yeah, like whatever
know
happens,
people-
I'm gonna get it.
But I do know people who are worth over $1 million that I don't think they have the millionaire mindset. Like, I'm a celebrity life coach. So there are a lot of people that you see on TV that we love them more than they love themselves. That's not a millionaire mindset. Like, a millionaire mindset, you love yourself. Like, you love everything about yourself. Like, I can't think of anything about me. I have flaws, but me, like, in my mind, I'm like, what do y'all do when I'm not around? Like, that's how important I think I am.
Everything's gonna break. Everything's gonna fall apart, Johnny.
Like, I'm like, what? Like, seriously, like, when I'm not there, what is the world doing? Like, that's how valuable I think I am. Now, you should have a level of confidence, not arrogance, but you just have, when you don't understand the difference between arrogance and confidence, you're always intimidated by confident people. Confidence is you understanding one or two things. I'm not better than anybody, but nobody's better than me either. That's confidence. That's not arrogance. That's confidence. When you think you're better than one person that has breath, that's arrogance. We just came from an administration that operated on arrogance.
That is so true. Oh my God! Now you're making me think. Oh, you're right. True, because not everyone that, like, for example, I'm sure, Johnny, for so many years, a lot of people think that you're arrogant, right? Like, because you talk.
They would mistake you for.
And then
arrogant.
once the minute that they, like, an hour maybe of like listening to you and all, they'll be like, oh, actually he's not.
Yeah. He's confident.
He's
There you go.
confident. Yes.
Yeah, my confidence may intimidate some people, but I've never met anybody that I thought I was better than. And I'm not, and I mean that literally.
Oh wow. Up to this date, Johnny, what if, like, like, there's a lot of you met a lot of billionaire mindset people that they have it in them, and they still keep on saying no. So how do you deal with it?
it's like I will wait until they figure it out.
It's true.
I'm not gonna microwave your life. I'm not going to manufacture something you're not ready for. The bigger the stage, the harder the fall.
True.
And what I mean by that is, let's say I hung up and I said, hey, I'm going to connect them with so-and-so who can have them their own show by tomorrow. Well, if you're not ready for that, the fall will be greater than the door and the opportunity. So true. I can love people where they are and appreciate them. And I can see them way up here and love them here. Because I know that they're going to get here one day, but why not just love them where they are? Like, I have no problem loving people where they are until they see themselves somewhere else. And I think a good friend of mine says, change is a door that can only be opened from the inside. So if I don't have the ability to change you, what am I doing? I can drip on you until you want to change.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to change you.
You're not going to break your bones
exactly,
just to help out someone. You know, he has to do it start from himself. Mostly.
I saw like one of our friends, actually he's one of your fans, Johnny, Ramir de la Cruz. He's a friend of ours.
Ramir, hello.
Oh my God. Like we've watched you so many times. Ramir and I watched you so many times. Like, you can't help those that doesn't want to help. So you move to those that are asking for your help. That shows that they deserve your help. Yes. True.
Yeah. It makes sense. I used to say this all the time from stage. I show people how to be successful. I don't show people how to want to be successful.
True.
And
that makes sense.
And that sounds a little bit cruel or insensitive, but isn't it respect to not push somebody to something they don't want? Like, I'm respecting you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you say I want to be successful, and I give you one assignment, and I never hear from you again, the assignment was bigger than you wanting to be successful.
It was a sort of test too.
Yes, exactly.
I can always figure out how big you are. They say that you can always judge the size of a person's character by the size of the obstacle that it takes to overcome them. So if I give you one obstacle and I never see you again, that obstacle was bigger than you.
True.
Can this person come back and say, can you give me a smaller obstacle?
You know what?
That's
I would appreciate the honesty. I would appreciate the honesty.
Exactly.
I'm like, that means, I still want this, but maybe
right. It's like that's honest.
That's true.
The Bible says, "In all you're getting, get an understanding." So if you don't understand the obstacle, come back for some understanding. There's nothing wrong with that.
Even if it's on and on and on, right? It doesn't matter until you comprehend things.
Oh man, this generation is more like like easy, done, son, it's done, got it.
Right?
The Gen Z,
easy.
The Gen Zs.
Say less. Say less. I know I'm never gonna see them again. Like, you start saying something like that to me, I'm like, I'm never gonna see you again.
But Johnny, okay, question. What about can you compare the Gen Zs now, that like the mindset that they have right now compared to the millennials and the Phillennials that like us?
I invented that. I invented that word.
The Phillennials.
She took it from you, Jake Cash. She took it.
Yeah, the Phillennials.
Phillennials means we feel like millennials. But our bones are breaking, boy.
It's like,
I love it. You know what? I don't know what generation is what generation, but I can tell you this: we have the most success literate generation of all time. Like right now, because of Forex and all this stuff, like the mindset that they're starting to learn, even if they never do anything with it, we never thought about this stuff. We never thought about buying European currency and selling it. Like, their mind is already there. These are 15, 16-year-olds. So in terms of the literacy part of it, we're living in a time that has never existed in terms of people who are 14, 15 years old wanting to be millionaires by trading.
True.
Never
Yes.
ever existed.
So right now, yes.
So I believe that we're embarking upon the first generation of very young millionaires that really love to they like to be financially incentivized to help other people. You think about the previous millionaire was you want to step on as many people to become a millionaire. This millionaire says, if I help you and I get a percentage, we're all going to the same place. So it's just different mindset right now.
Community mindset.
Yeah, it is
true.
really a community mindset.
Yeah, plus Johnny, you were right. Like right now, there's like, I'm surprised, 21-year-old, 22 years old. They're like teens, like millionaires now.
Yeah.
They're creating their own apps. They have their own business.
Bitcoin. It's just everything is different, man. You got kids who can't even pay attention at school because of Bitcoin.
Really?
They're making more money than their teachers are, and they're like, there's nothing you can teach me.
Exactly right. Like, what else?
Right. It's like, why am I here right now? And so these groups are becoming extremely strong, and they're young. Wow. So I believe we're going to turn the corner to some pretty awesome things, especially if we have the right government in place.
True. Oh, Johnny. Okay, let's talk about I know it's an hour and a half. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but what's that? Talk about I know what have you been doing right now? Like I know you're involved with a new MLM company, right? So
yeah.
Can you, if you don't mind, can you tell us about it?
iBoomerang is probably the most exciting thing that I've ever been a part of, and that's I am more excited about iBoomerang than my own book. Like it's, I finally see a place in my life where I can help more people reach financial freedom in the fastest period of time that I've ever been possible to do. And while educating and having fun and still working with that age group that really wants to learn about, digital currency and digital global moves that are happening. So I'm following somebody for the first time in over 12 years that has outdone me.
Really?
In the last 12 years, I've been following people that I've outproduced. And that is a very lonely place to be. Because I have nothing to look up to.
Exactly. But now you're following this person. Yeah,
I'm looking up. If there was a Michael Jordan of the network marketing industry, like a Serena Williams or Wayne Gretzky, if there was one of them for this industry, that would be Holton Bugs. That's who my
Holton Bugs. Yes, I heard about. Yes.
So it's different, anybody who's interested, go to johnnytravel.com, johnnytravel.com. I'll get your information in 24 hours and reach out to you. But what I have my hands on right now is about the next 3 to 5 years. It's not even about what's happening right now. It's what I'm building towards. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane.
I believe in you, Johnny. I know that whatever you touch will always turn into gold. Right. So guys, if you want to have a millionaire mindset, just please go to johnnytravel.com and send him a message.
Awesome.
Why? And also check out his book in Amazon, Building a Millionaire Mindset, right? So Johnny, we will put all the links, everything that you want us to.
Yeah. Yes. Anything at Wimbrey, you'll find me. At Wimbrey, my last name, Wimbrey.com, at Wimbrey on social media. All of that's there. But I'm honored and grateful to be here. Greatly appreciate you. I definitely want to come back.
Oh my God. Phil, yes, you're always welcome here.
Crazy, quick segments for you guys in the future.
I know, bro. Oh yeah. We're gonna have a blast. Oh, Johnny, what about any last message to everyone, like a general message to everyone, especially at this pandemic right now?
When things go wrong, don't go with them. I mean, you think about everything that we've gone through in the last, 18 months, and some of us even more. when things go wrong, you just don't go with them. Coronavirus was wrong. COVID-19 was wrong. But just because it's wrong doesn't mean we get to go with it. Love people, be considerate, be compassionate. When you see one group of people taking it really hard, why don't you just go out of your way and be the person that's being seen to support those groups? Like right now with, what's going on in the Asian communities and our brothers and sisters that are experiencing, racism and just discrimination because of stupidity and ignorance. I've really, really have purpose in my heart in the last 48 hours. I want to get behind a movement in a very big way. Black Lives Matter to me was a bigger distraction than COVID-19 was. And I'm talking about from a business perspective. I had to stop my business. I had to like put everything on stop because it was so important. It was so important that making money didn't even matter anymore. So I put my whole life on hold. COVID-19, my business actually soared. We actually did very well during COVID-19. But I'm really, really looking for something to get involved with, and I could probably tell you, I'm probably going to get highly involved with a women's group, with a women's movement of women, equality. And here's why: if I fight for women equality, that's fighting for everything. Mm-hmm. Like if I just fight for one race or one person or one people, that's me doing what everybody does. I want to fight for something that has nothing to do with me, because I believe that when we see more people fighting for a cause that has nothing to do with them, then they start winning. Like, the NAACP, Martin Luther King, they had support, from, Jewish brothers and sisters. It takes support from other organizations. It takes support from other people who have nothing to do with the organization to bring power. And when you see, white 15-year-old girls walking around with Black Lives Matter shirt on, her shirt is way more powerful than 25 Black people wearing the shirt that says Black Lives Matter. That's what we got to do. We got to get involved with other people's hurt, other people's pain, and do it. Because when you do that, it shows the power of crossing over the line to complement somebody else's pain.
Powerful words.
Yeah. Very deep and
That's
powerful.
Again a different mindset,
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
God bless you guys, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Johnny. What's up? Oh my God, we will talk. Okay. You're
always.
Wow. You're very inspirational. Very inspirational. And I'm sure by starting tomorrow, because I know it's 11 o'clock here. And in the Philippines, a lot of people will watch this for sure. And guys, please watch this episode because you will learn a lot as much as we
go to my social media. Just hashtag, tag me on. I need a comment. I'd love to know if you watched the show. And you'll be seeing me again. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Go, Jcas.
Yes,
close our show.
Thank you, mga ka-OAGOT, for eavesdropping in this conversation. Don't forget to share this amongst your friends, and also to please like and follow us here in Over a Glass or Two in Facebook, in Twitter, and Instagram, and also to subscribe to our Over a Glass or Two YouTube channel. Mr. Johnny Wimbrey, thank you for the story of your life and all the inspirational words. We love you.
We love you.
Okay,
thank you.
Final cheers.
Yes.
I'm done.
Mga ka-OAGOT, remember, amidst the pandemic, let's still find ways to be happy. Let's all talk about it over a glass or two.
Hey!
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. Ate Pilar, thank you.